Hello and welcome to This Date in History, also known as TDH. This show is all about the events that occurred to date in years past, both recognized by actual historians, but mainly things that we personally find intriguing enough for us to bring to you. The sources of this information comes from the smart device application, Today in History, What Happened Today in History, Historical Calendar, and the website onthisday.com. For links to those sources and music and anything else we gather throughout the show, check the underbar of the description below. Anyway, I am A.O. Xander, and today is Sun's Day, also known as Sunday. What is this? June 12th, 2022. This past week, I know it's been a little crazy. It's been a little bit hit and miss. I'm going to be trying something new today. Also, Sohen's kind of been MIA, up in the air. I don't know what's going on with him. He's with family or something, but yeah, apparently they're occupying him 24/7. He's the guy doesn't even have time to sleep. I don't know. Anyway, we're trying something new today. Starting us off in the year 1381, the Peasants' Revolt in England. Rebels arrived at Blackheath. Moving on up into 1442, King Alfonso V of Aragon occupied Naples. 1651, the newly completed Fontana dei Quattro Fiumi, the Fountain of the Four Rivers, by Gian Lorenzo Bernini, was unveiled in Rome. That's interesting. Let's see what that even looks like. Muffin is in Rome right now, actually. So maybe he can check this out. Oh, this one. Okay. Let's open that up a bit so that way we can see it better. Alright. Moving on up into 1673, Charles II's brother, Duke James of York, resigned as Lord High Admiral. Okay. 1683, Rye House plot against English King Charles II was uncovered. Interesting. And then, this is the guy who was the plotter, and this is the alleged victim. I don't know. Then in 1864, General Lee sent Jubal A. Early into Shenandoah Valley. Interesting. 1873, John William Strutt, or Lord Raleigh, became President of the Royal Society in the United Kingdom. 1898, Filipino Revolutionary Forces under General Emilio Aguinaldo proclaimed the sovereignty and independence of the Philippine Islands from the colonial rule of Spain. 1919, the U.S. Open Men's Golf, Braeburn CC, Walter Hagen defeated Mike Brady by one stroke in an 18-hole playoff to win his second and final U.S. Open. 1922, Browns pitcher Hub Pruitt struck out future Baseball Hall of Fame slugger Babe Ruth 3 consecutive times as St. Louis beat New York Yankees 7-1 at Sportsman's Park, St. Louis. Well, that's interesting. Dang, he struck him out 3 consecutive times. Jeez. Come on, Bambino. 1923, Harry Houdini freed himself from a straitjacket while suspended upside down 40 feet, which is 12 meters, above the ground in New York City. Must have been, I think was he upside down? I don't know. 1928, New York Yankees future Baseball Hall of Fame first baseman Lou Gehrig collected 14 total bases with 2 triples and 2 home runs in a 15-7 win over the Chicago White Sox. Huh. In 1931, Al Capone was indicted on 5,000 counts of prohibition and perjury. Dang. 1934, Black McKellar bill passed, causing the breakup of William Boeing's empire into Boeing United Aircraft Technologies and United Airlines. But we all know that they're working in conjunction still. It's all an umbrella corporation. In 1937, after a one-day show trial, 8 Soviet generals were sentenced to death and executed by the NKVD. Dang. 1924, Anne Frank got her diary as a birthday present in Amsterdam. 1942, Hitler orders enslavement of Slavic peoples. Dang. So in the same time Anne Frank gives her birthday present, the Slavs get enslaved. Wow. 1948, the 80th Belmont. Eddie Arcaro won a broad citation to claim his second Triple Crown. And it says here it's a jockey, so it has to be horse racing, something or other. Also in 1948, in his Farewell Ashes tour, Australian cricket batting maestro Don Bradman scored 138 in first test against England at Trent Bridge. Damn. 2 years later, in 1950, following his retirement announcement after 49 years as Philadelphia Athletics manager, Connie Mack was named honorary manager of the MLB All-Star Game. 4 years later, in 1954, Bill Haley's Rock Around the Clock is originally released. In 1957, Stan Musial plays an 1957, Stan Musial played in his 823rd game with new NL conservative game streak, whatever that is. 1963, U.S. civil rights activist Medgar Evers was assassinated by white supremacist Byron D. Lee Beckwith in Jackson, Mississippi. Dang. 1963, Cleopatra, directed by Joseph Mankiewicz and starring Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton, premiered in New York City, which was then the most expensive film ever made. Let's see here. How expensive was it? Cleopatra. Let's look that up here real quick. Open that up a little bit. Movie cost. 31.1 million US dollars. Wow. Dang. That's pretty expensive. But nothing can compare to what's normal today. Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. We're doing something new. In 1964, Nelson Mandela was sentenced to life in prison in South Africa. Good thing that didn't last. 1965, Sonny and Cher made their first TV appearance in American Bandstand. Oh, that's cool, Sonny and Cher. 1966, Dave Clark 5 set record as they appeared for the 12th time on The Ed Sullivan Show. Huh. 1967, You Only Live Once, by the fifth James Bond film starring Sean Connery, screenplay by Roald Dahl, premiered in London. Interesting. In 1970, rocker and blues singer Janis Joplin debuted in Kentucky. 2 years later, in 1972, John Lennon's political album Sometime in New York City released, including the songs Woman is the End of the World, Attica State, and Luck of the Irish. Wow, he really put that in his song? Jesus Christ. 1975, Hank Aaron smacked his first home run in Milwaukee since 1965, and as his new team, the Brewers, beat Oakland A's 9-7. In 1976, Yes, Yes, Yes by Bill Cosby hit number 46. Oh, that didn't age well. 1977, LPGA Championship Women's Golf Gray Tree Plantation GC. Chako Higuchi of Japan won her only LPGA major title by 3 from Pat Bradley, Sandra Post, and Judy Renkin. 1977, it's groundbreaking ceremony for John F. Kennedy Presidential Library and Museum, which Dad and I are going to actually visit that at some point. In 1979, the Detroit Tigers fired manager Les Moss, hiring Sparky Anderson, who stayed until 1995. This included the World Series title 1984 and Al Manager of the Year 1984 and 1987. In 1980, Ronald Reagan said he will submit to periodic medical tests. Okay. I don't know why that was a thing. He should be doing that normally. Go to your doctor. Get a checkup. But if you have to get vaccinated, then don't. 1981, Raiders of the Lost Ark, the first Indiana Jones film, directed by Steven Spielberg, produced by George Lucas, and starring Harrison Ford, premiered. And there's a theory out there that says that all of the Indiana Jones is the dream that Han Solo is having when he's stuck in the oh, help me here, whatever, frozen thing that he ended up at Jabba's. Anyway, 1981, Larry Holmes TKOs, technically knocks out Leon Spinks in 3 for WBC heavyweight boxing title. 1986, P.W. Botha declared South African national emergency. Ooh. 1987, the Central African Republic ex-Emperor Jean Bedel Bokassa was sentenced to death. Dang. 1998, Soviet Union held its first beauty contest in Moscow. 16-year-old Maria Kalinina was crowned the winner. 1999, New York Yankee reliever Dave Righetti became the ninth to record 200 saves. Huh. And his face says it all. Not bad. Also in 1990, Oakland A's Rickey Henderson became the second to steal 900 bases. Also in 1990, Orioles' Cal Ripken played on his 1,308th consecutive game to move past Everett Scott into second place of the all-time list. Damn. Also in 1990, Mariah Carey's debut album by Mariah Carey was released. Wow, she named an album after herself. What an egotistical maniac. 1991, Boris Yeltsin won Russia's first presidential election with 57% of the vote. Dang. Also in 1991, during the NBA Finals, the Chicago Bulls beat the LA Lakers 108-101 in Game 5 for the first of 3 straight titles. Most valuable player is, of course, the Michael Jordan in his first NBA Finals appearance. Michael Jordan! 1994, Pope John Paul II visited Spain. Interesting. 1997, Shakespeare's Globe Theatre opened in London, England, replica of the original Globe Theatre, which lasted from 1599 to 1642, with a performance of Henry V after campaign by Sam Wanamaker. He wanted to make it, so he did. 1997, Batman and Robin, directed by Joel Schumacher, starring George Clooney, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Chris O'Donnell, premiered in Los Angeles. 2000, X-Men, the first film based on comic book series, starring Patrick Stewart, Hugh Jackman, and Ian McKellen, premiered on Ellis Island in New York Harbor. Wow, and they're still doing it. 22 years, could you imagine? 22 years of making, X-Men shit? Jesus. In 2002, during the NBA Finals, Los Angeles Lakers beat the New Jersey Jets 113-107 for a 4-0 sweep and third straight title. Most valuable player, Shaquille O'Neal, the Diesel, for a third consecutive final series. Also in 2002, during the 36th CMT Flame-Worthy Video Music Awards, the Dixie Chicks, Martina McBride, and Kenny Chesney won. 2007, Alexander Solzhenitsyn, the Russian novelist and historian, was awarded the State Prize of the Russian Federation for his humanitarian work by President Putin. Ooh. He really Putin on the show, didn't he? Also in 2007, Transformers, directed by Michael Bay, explosions, and starring Shia LaBeouf, He Will Not Divide Us, and Megan Fox with the Toe Thumbs, premiered in Sydney. 2008, Coldplay released their fourth studio album, Viva La Vida or Death, which became winner of 3 Grammys. That's a good song, good album. 2010, Toy Story 3, directed by Lee Unkrich, starring Tom Hanks and Tim Allen, premiered at the Taormina Film Fest in Italy. It was the first animated film to earn $1 billion. 2016, during the 70th Tony Awards, Hamilton won 11 awards after a record of 16 nominations. Leslie Odom Jr., Cynthia Erivo, Frank Langella, Jessica Lange also won acting awards. Also in 2016, Cristiano Ronaldo became the first footballer to top Forbes' highest paid athletes list, earning $88 million. That same date, same year, 2016, the Women's PGA Championship at Sahala CC, 18-year-old Canadian Brooke Henderson won her first major title on the first hole of a sudden death playoff with top-ranked Lydia Ko of New Zealand. Also in 2016, Senior Players Championship Men's Golf at Philadelphia Cricket Club, Germany's Bernhard Langer won his third straight players title by one shot from Joe Durant and Spinard Miguel Angel Jimenez. 2017, Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny was sentenced to 30 days administrative arrest for organizing rallies. Wow. Also in 2017, Forbes released the top 100 highest paid entertainers list. Sean Puff Daddy Combs was at number 1 with earnings of $130 million. 2018, just 4 years ago, the Singapore summit between North Korean leader Kim Jong-Un and U.S. President Donald Trump, the first time a North Korean leader and an incumbent U.S. president have ever met. And he crossed the border. He was in North Korea. Let's see here. Move on into the bursts. Starting us off in the year 950, we have Raizai, was a Japanese emperor, dying in 1011. One significant time jump here into 1760, Jean-Baptiste Louvet de Courvary was a French author, playwright, journalist, and politician, dying in 1797. 1771, we have Patrick Grass, was an American sergeant during the Lewis and Clark expedition, and he was also an author, dying in 1870. 1795, John Marston, no, not the one from Red Dead Redemption. This guy was an American sailor, and he died in 1885. So, John Marston died in what, 1910? Something like that? Or 1905, I don't know. 1806, John A. Roebling was a German-American engineer who designed the Brooklyn Bridge. We all know what that looks like. This guy died in 1869. In 1831, Robert Herbert was born on this date. He was an English-Australian politician who was the first Premier of Queensland, dying in 1905. 1841, we have Waston Fothergill, an English architect who designed the Woodborough Road Baptist Church, dying in 1928. Let's take a look at what this looks like here. Let's see here. Woodborough Baptist Church. Huh. Cool looking church. Really cool looking church. You know, I like the colors and everything. Interesting architecture. Huh. In 1851, Oliver Lodge was an English physicist and academic, dying in 1940. 1857, Maurice Perrault was a Canadian architect, engineer, and politician who is the 15th mayor of Longueuil. Whatever. She died in 1909. 1883, Robert Lowy was an Australian American anthropologist and academic, dying in 1957. We have Robert Lowy. 1899, Ouija was a Ukrainian American photographer and journalist, dying in 1968. 1914, Go Seigen was a Chinese-Japanese Go player. What is Go? Let's look that up here real quick. What is Go game? Go is an abstract strategy board game for 2 players in which the aim is to surround more territory than the opponent. Interesting. And this is what it looks like here. Oh, alright. Who else was born on this day? 1915, David Rockefeller was a U.S. banker and businessman. U.S. globalist, elitist banker and businessman. Dying in 2017, thank God. 1916, Irwin Allen. He was a U.S. director and producer, died in 1991. 1922, Margarita Hack was an Italian astrophysicist and author, died in 2013. 1924, George H.W. Bush, Herbert Walker, was a U.S. lieutenant and politician who was the 41st President of the United States of America. 1929, Anne Frank was born on this date. She was a German-Dutch diarist and victim of the Holocaust, dying in 1945. 1931, Trevanian was a U.S. author and scholar, died in 2005. Let's see here, what's his actual name, Trevanian? Let's look that up here. Trevanian. Film writer, right? Author and scholar. Trevanian, 1931. Just, okay. Hey, he's a film writer. Okay. Robert William Whittaker. Huh. This is the same guy? June 12th? Yeah, okay. Well, that's his actual name. So let me put that in real quick. Rodney William, whatever that was, a.k.a. Whittake. 1949, we have Jong-Un, was an English singer, songwriter, bass player, and producer, died in 2017. 1954, Tim Razzle, Baron Razzle. Would have been better if it was Baron Dazzle. Had a little razzle-dazzle, jazz hands. This guy, he was an English lawyer and politician. He's still alive today. Jazz hands. 1962, Jordan Peterson, Canadian psychologist, professor, and cultural critic. And I don't think he's a good guy. I've heard his name in bad ways. So, 1964, Peter Cush, Scottish-born English cricketer. 1979, Robin, Swedish singer, songwriter, musician, and record producer. Let me look her up real quick, because that could not be her actual name. 79, Robin. Singer. Let's see, Robin Miriam Carlson. So that's her actual name. Then let's put that in here. Boop, aka. And then 1985, Blake Ross is a U.S. computer programmer who co-created Mozilla Firefox, which I use. Thank you very much. Moving on up into deaths. Let's see here, deaths today. Any interesting deaths? We have 1945, Emil Hacha was a Czech politician. He was president of Czechoslovakia from 1938 through 1939. He was a state president of Bohemia and Moravia from 1939 to 1945. And he died in a prison due to mysterious circumstances at the age of 72. 1963, Medgar Evers was an American civil rights activist, NAACP official. He was shot in Jackson, Mississippi at 37. In 1983, Norma Shearer was a Canadian-American actress. She was in Escape, Romeo and Juliet. She died at the age of 82. 1990, Terence O'Neill died on this date at the age of 72. He was a Prime Minister of Northern Ireland, the member of the Ulster Unionist Party from 1963 to 1969. 2003, Gregory Peck, American actor. He was in To Kill a Mockingbird. Specifically, he played... Oh, well, he also was in MacArthur. He died of bronchopneumonia at 87. Oh, man. 2003. But that's interesting. Yeah, that was a good movie. 2012, Henry Hill Jr. was a U.S. mobster and FBI informant. He died from a heart condition at the age of 69. And that concludes the show. Once again, you can check the underbar for any links that you may be interested in. For all of you and all of us, I am Xander, and you are you. Don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. And until then, check out some of the links. There's Omni Coalition, there's Stohen's Twitch, Muffin's YouTube. You know, go check it out. Toodles! Let's go, Brandon.